Are you looking to start selling products online? Or maybe you do already and are considering changing e-commerce platforms. I've used several, and today I'm going to talk about which platform I recommend. Please know that this video is giving my perspective and hopefully some food for thought. There isn't one platform out there that's right or wrong, and everyone is going to have their own preferences. So while I have my recommendation, please know that it may not match your feelings, and that's completely okay. I'll be discussing Shopify versus WooCommerce. But before we dive into this topic, my name is Michelle. I've been in the marketing game for close to 20 years, and I love to share what I've learned and the tools that I use with other entrepreneurs. So if this info resonates with you, or if you find it helpful, please give the video a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one. And if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comments. All right, let's take a look at some e-commerce platforms. We're going to start out with WooCommerce. Now, WooCommerce is used by WordPress websites, obviously, and I believe Showit also can integrate WooCommerce because there is that WordPress connection. So if you have a WordPress site already and you're like, I just want to add an e-commerce platform, you might think WooCommerce because, well, first, it's a free plugin technically, so you could get started for free. Everybody loves free, right? But what happens when you want to start doing something a little bit more complicated? Then you have to get an extension. And the extensions, while there are plenty out there and you can pretty much make it do whatever you want to do, those kind of start to add up in the end. You know, I've had clients that they had special payment gateways that they wanted to add, which is totally fine. You can just get an extension for your WooCommerce platform to do that. But then, you know, that's $79 a year to have that specific payment gateway that you're looking for. If it's not the norm, you know, if it's outside of Stripe or PayPal, then those customizations are going to cost you. So maybe you have that. You know, there was other instances where they wanted to sell actual physical gift cards, not online gift cards. But in order to do that, we also had to get an extension for that. And that had a yearly fee associated with it. You know, I can't remember if it was like between 30 to 50 bucks. And then the more that they wanted you to complex shipping, you know, because it's a local store, but maybe they want to ship outside the areas, the more complex that they got, the more plugins you had to get and the more it cost money. And so that free to get started didn't really seem so ideal anymore. So while it's free, you might end up having to pay in the long run, depending on what you're looking to do with your store. So I always think price is a factor when you are setting up a store. But the other thing is that the more that I got into it, you know, I consider myself a super tech savvy person. It's not actually the most intuitive platform. I'm just popping into a test environment that I have set up. When I first started to get into this, you know, it does give you little prompts. And by no means is this a tutorial. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here. If there is something specific that you want to see, I will entertain making a video on it. But I'm just trying to give you a look and feel of what things look like in case you never have touched either of these and you're trying to figure out which one might be best for you. I do have Divi installed in here. So Divi actually gives you some pretty cool options when setting up your store and how the look and feel of it is. But I would say if you are wanting to do this on your own and you don't consider yourself super tech savvy, I would say that you're going to need to probably find either a freelancer or some other company to help you out. They've got, you know, whether it's simple products, group products, affiliate products, variable products, there's so many different options that you can go in and set up the attributes. That was something that I had to, you know, watch tutorials on and figure out how to do that myself. I actually have a video on my channel that is showing you how to do some customization with like colors and things of that nature. But it's not the easiest to set up, I would say. You have to really kind of have a tech background, I would say, to really feel comfortable using it. I mean, of course, if you're a go-getter and you want to watch all the tutorials in the world, go for it. I would say if budget is a super concern and you aren't really needing a big store and you think that you can get by with what WooCommerce has to offer, I'd say, you know, give it a shot. I definitely, when I started to want to sell some templates for myself, and I have plans to sell more, it's just time always seems to be a factor in this. But when I set up my store, it was going great. And then the next thing you know, it gets hacked. And I think that's one of the bad things about WordPress. I mean, it is a very vulnerable platform. And so if you're not regularly keeping up with the updates, if you're not making sure that your plugins are always up to date, there's a lot of vulnerabilities, especially when it comes to WooCommerce. For most of my WordPress websites, I would say the security is pretty good. I usually host on Flywheel. I always recommend Flywheel because of the security that they have set up and the fact that they monitor everything and they'll give you alerts if they see anything suspicious. But if you're using a host that doesn't have all those security protocols set up and you're not actively keeping up with your updates, there's a pretty big chance that your site could go down. And having all of your eggs into one basket, really, with having your website and your e-commerce platform, if one goes down, they all go down, right? So it's something to think about and making sure that you're constantly monitoring those things so that you're not running into these troubles. I'm just going to pop back to the extensions just to show you that they do have kind of a whole marketplace for extensions. And so they've got their different payment gateways that you can set up here, ways to integrate with Facebook, Google Analytics, although I would argue there's better ways to set up Google Analytics for this, shipment tracking. They've got all kinds of options out there for you to really customize this to your heart's content. But like I said, those gift cards, if you want to sell prepaid gift cards, $79 annually, for that. And then if you're also doing a custom payment gateway, maybe that's another $79. So again, the more fancy you want to get with this, the more it adds up. And so that free to get started tier just kind of goes right out the window. But they've got tons of options. So if you are all in on WordPress, which, I love WordPress too. I just think that from my experience, it kind of feels like either something's always going wrong or nothing's as easy as it seems to be. So definitely things to think about when it comes to WooCommerce. So if I was going to pick between WooCommerce and Shopify, which we haven't really talked about yet, my leaning is probably going to be towards Shopify. I'm really loving this platform. And the reason that I love it is because it is such a mainstream platform. The integrations that it has available, and not saying that WooCommerce doesn't have integrations available, this just makes life a little bit easier if you're wanting to connect to other platforms out there to sell your products. And so what do I mean by that? I'll pop you into my store real quick. It's got several sales channels that you can hook up, and there's no extra cost for this. So you're already paying for the platform. There is a monthly fee. I believe the first tier is $29 a month. If you're going for the yearly plan, which if you go for the yearly plan, you'll get 25% off of what you would pay for the monthly. Because if you're paying for per month, it's going to be $39. But they have all these sales channels that you can connect. So for here, you've got not only your online store, but you can easily integrate it into Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to sell products directly off Instagram, you can make those Instagram posts and then you can actually connect your products from your Shopify store to your Instagram. I've tried to do it with WooCommerce. I do believe it's possible. I wasn't able to actually get it set up. It seemed like there was a couple more barriers into it. This just makes it easy. Shopify just makes it easy. Not only that, you can connect it to TikTok. So if you're going to open up a TikTok shop, again, don't really know where that platform's headed, but if it sticks around and you want to have a presence on TikTok, you can easily just push your Shopify products. You're creating your products in Shopify and then you're pushing them to TikTok. And then you can also do Google and YouTube. With the YouTube, now YouTube is owned by Google, you can have those products easily show up. So for example, on one of my recent YouTube videos, I was showing off the Divi template that I had updated, and I am selling that template in my Shopify store so that you can just purchase it if you don't want to do the legwork and just have a working example. This can you can take that Shopify product and then you can connect it to your videos. And so if you do have a YouTube presence out there, if that is a vehicle that you're using to sell products as well, it's really easily able to connect to those, and then you can see those product highlights there below. So it just makes getting your products in a lot of different places very easy. The other thing that I really love is that if you want to get into drop shipping products, I actually use Printify to create fun products to sell. I made a couple $1,000s off of it just by using my design skills. And so I'm actually going to make a video on that too, because I think it's pretty cool, all of what Printify can do. But this easily connects to your Shopify store. It also connects to Etsy. I've sold some things on Etsy as well. And so you can just take what you have created in Printify and then easily push it to Shopify. It creates the product and then you can push that out to all the different areas that you want to. So for example, if I created this product here for the Divi layout, then I've got options, the sales channels. I get to choose where I want that to show up. I can have it be on the online store. I can push it to YouTube. I can push it to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok if I want to. All you have to do is like manage your sales channels. And then if I really wanted to sell it on TikTok, I can. I just have to click that box. So wherever you want to push it, you can. I will also say there's something called buy button in Shopify, which I thought was really cool. And so what that does is allows you to create something so that let's say you do have a WordPress and you're kind of on the fence. Do I do the WooCommerce thing because I already have a WordPress site, or do I do Shopify and pay, extra out of the gate? Just know that if you create this thing called the buy button, then you can take those products and you can embed them on your WordPress site. And then what that does is it has a little checkout pop-up that you can purchase that. I'll show you an example of what that looks like right now. So this is my Michelle the Creator website, and this is just, it's more of like a playground for me to test things out. But I've sold a lot of candles, believe it or not, from creating them from Printify and then pushing them to like my Etsy store and then Shopify. I think they're just funny. It's just a way to use my design skills and then make a couple extra bucks off of that. But I created these buy buttons for them. And so what you do, if you hit buy now, then it automatically pops this cart up. There isn't really any extra thing that you need to install to make this happen. When you embed the code onto your site, it'll do all of this for you. And so you can check out directly on this website. And then if I say, yes, I would like this candle, I'll hit checkout. It goes to the Shopify portal to finish the sale. So if that is something that you want the ability to have, highlighting specific products on your WordPress site and not taking them to the full store, that's just an easy thing that you can do. It's included in the price. There isn't any extra extensions that you need to pay for to do that. So it's pretty cool. If that's something that you're interested in, like how to set that up, I could actually make a tutorial on that. Just let me know if that's of interest. But all in all, I would say with the amount of sales channels that you can push to, the ease of creating products, and this is a digital product, so I did have to download Shopify doesn't call them plugins, they're called apps on this platform. And so I did have to do an app so that I could sell digital products, but that wasn't any extra cost actually. So I just downloaded that app and then installed it. It was called Digital Downloads. And then I was able to create the digital files. So that allowed me to sell digital files. Some of the other apps that I've installed and played with, Lulu Direct. If you are into making custom journals or anything like that, custom books, custom notebooks, anything like that, that is a printed product that is customized, you can do that with Lulu Direct. That's an app I download. You can create your products over there and then import them into Shopify. So it's a really cool way to do kind of print on demand. As I mentioned before, I do Printify, have had a lot of success with that. Zendrop is really an interesting thing too that I've kind of played with. Drop shipping products. So if you want to get into the drop shipping game, you can do Zendrop. You would create your Shopify store, add the Zendrop. You pick your products in Zendrop that you want to sell. And then the other thing too is that you can sell those on TikTok. So that was like a huge thing that's kind of blown up of drop shipping products on TikTok. If that's like something that you really want to get into, Zendrop could be something that you check out for that too. So there's so many cool opportunities with Shopify. I love it. I think it's easy to use. It's a lot less frustrating, I will say, than what I've experienced with WooCommerce. So if you're trying to figure out which way to lean, I would probably go with Shopify, because the other thing too is like if you do have a WordPress site or, something else, you might consider just keeping your e-commerce store separate so that it doesn't make your actual site super vulnerable with all the hacking opportunities that WooCommerce seems to have. If you want to take a look at pricing for Shopify, again, that basic tier, which is what I have, it will cost you $29 a month if you're paying for the year. that goes up. There's higher tiers from that. I actually have clients who have moved their entire wholesale sites to Shopify. So if that is something that you're thinking about, or that you currently have, Shopify can handle that. They've had a lot of success with the wholesale sites moving there. If you want to get started, you could get started with a free trial, which I highly recommend. Why not start the free trial and see if it is something that you think is going to work for you. I have a link in my description that you can get started with. It is a free trial for 3 days and then $1 for your first month. So if you only want to try it out for the first month, you can just do that for the $1. And then that gives you a little bit more time to see if this is something that's going to work for you. So let me know what you think. Do you have preferences on which platform? I know this is only 2. We didn't even talk about others. I would say if Magento ever comes into the conversation, I'd say run, girl, don't do it. But that's a whole nother video. There's probably other stores out there that you use. If you're a Squarespace user, they have their own platform built in. I've tried working with that a little bit. I haven't had any issues with that so far. So let me know what your favorite e-commerce platform is. If there's one that you want me to investigate, or if there's questions that you have, I'm always happy to answer whatever I can. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.